Welcome to Splatalot!
The magical and mysterious kingdom that invites 10 brave young warriors to go head-to-head with those despicable defenders as they compete to capture the greatest treasure in the land, the Splatalot crown.
This one's for my nerd herd!
Can the defenders keep the castle safe from the attackers, or will our young warriors overcome every hurdle and ultimately find a true champion to rule this messy kingdom?
Who will tumble, who will tilt, who will teeter, and who will go splat? Hello, I'm Dick, he's Dom.
And this is Splatalot, the messiest kingdom in the land.
Yeah, much messier than that kingdom next door. Tidy up a lot.
Get off. But there's a good reason for all this mess, which comes from the 3 challenges we've set to find a new ruler.
And those 3 challenges are the Moat Challenge. 10 attackers will enter, but only the 6 fastest will survive.
Ditch the Dungeon, which will reduce that number down to 4.
And Capture the Crown, the final round, where 1 attacker will succeed in claiming this Splatalot crown.
Those challenges are tough.
Well, if you think about it, only 1 of the 10 attackers will conquer them all.
Here's the first round again in more detail.
The attackers begin by being flung into the moat by the Splatapult.
Then it's up the slippery slope and across the rolling maze, but on guard is the Splacken.
If they survive that, they head down the impossible incline. Then, after avoiding the water blast, they have to tackle the beastly battle axes.
The Bridge of Disaster then follows, and finally the wavering warhead stands between them and the finish line.
That course puts the icky in tricky.
Well, if that's the case, then this lot put the iffy in difficult.
Yes, it's time to meet the iffy defenders. Although perhaps whiffy might be a better description. Defending the moat today, we have Kookaburra.
Hey, trying to sneak up behind me? Yes, you are.
He'll be joined by Medivh, and making up the trio is...
Hi, I'm...
A fighting fit, Fatale.
I'm gonna be the thorn in yours. One flap and you're on your back.
Kook having some fun at Thorn's expense there. I'm sure the attackers will also be on the receiving end very soon.
The defenders are in position and looking focused. Apart from Kook, of course.
Hi, Mom.
I break for fabulous!
Here's Air Cadet Neil. Nice takeoff.
Great landing. Landing successful. Neil, are you an air cadet?
Yup!
Because you did really well just then.
Thank you, Kookaburra. You are fabulous!
How lovely.
He's hit! He's going down! Mayday! Mayday! Splat!
What a shame. They were having such a nice conversation, and then Neil had to ruin it by splatting into the moat.
Watch out for that!
Neil avoids the Splacken. On the incline now. Pug Squeezer.
Now, do you skate too?
I can see what Medivh's getting at, but without skates, it's more of a slide.
How about if I had a pair of...
Yeah, nice, but I can cope without the pain.
Look, Neil, watch me now.
Well, he's got Medivh in one ear and a water blast in the other, but he's over the axes.
Can Fatale stop him?
Neil, do you think Fatale is fabulous?
Neil ponders the question, then jumps in the dish foot. There's your answer, Fatale.
Just a warhead to go.
Fly, Neil!
And Neil does indeed make a flying start with a 339. Do we like that?
Yes!
Yes!
It's fabulous.
Yellow bananas!
Here's attacker number 2, Shantae.
Nimble nom nom.
Well, no polite conversation from Kookaburra this time, just a plain old splat on the hat.
Bonjour! Je m'appelle Medivh.
Medivh tries some French, and Shantae gets drenched.
Flat pour vous. Merci beaucoup.
Well, thankfully the French lesson is over, and Shantae completes the course in a respectable 7:37.
If you can fly, you can dance.
Here's Ellie.
Do the fly dance. Is that it? That's the fly dance.
Yeah, I can fly, unlike you.
But Kookaburra's a bird.
Well, I'm currently defending.
Now, fair enough.
And Ellie's currently splatting Wally Wampa.
I hear you want to open a beauty salon, girl. Maybe I should give you a haircut. A haircut now!
Look out, Ellie! Splacken! The Splacken strikes!
Yes, unfortunately for Ellie, she fell into the trap of chatting back to the defenders and took her eye off the ball.
Do you do mani-pedi?
A splatty mani petty.
This time Ellie stays focused and makes it over the finish line. Well, sort of made it.
Hang on in there, Ellie.
It's gonna be a long day.
Well, she claws her way to the top, and yes, she's finished.
There, huh?
Good effort, Ellie, but I don't think that time will cut it.
Here's Hannah!
This one's for my nerd herd.
Hannah has a herd of nerds.
That's what I heard. Dog flap!
I'm pretty sure that a group of nerds isn't called a herd. It's a gaggle. Or a googling.
You better fly back to your mommy.
Oh, Hannah puts Kook in his place, but then finds a place for herself in the most top-heavy Tom.
Hey, girl, do you have some kind of nerd sign?
Oh, pork sizzle!
Once again, the defenders cleverly distract the attackers, and this time, the water blast is Hannah's undoing. But she's right back up and over the first axe. Not so good on the second, and she's back in the moat.
Hannah finishes in 8:29. Will that be good enough today?
Here's Kevin.
Ay.
He's into fashion. Over to Coop.
All right, here he comes now. Up the catwalk.
Don't you mean splat walk?
Here he is, Kevin, wearing the Splatalot 4 collection.
It seems quite fashionable today to fall off the mace, and Kevin doesn't disappoint.
Stylish and splatty. Fabulous.
Hey, Kevin, what you think? You like my outfit, Kevin?
Maybe a little.
Oh, I kind of like you, Kevin.
Looks like Mediva's fallen into her own trap here. She's too busy chatting to defend the axes.
Oh, rusty bracket!
Don't worry, Kevin. Splatting is all the rage this season.
It's certainly all the rage round this moat challenge. The attackers are really struggling today to keep out of the moat.
You make that sound like a bad thing.
Kevin finishes with a time of 6:21.
New trend this season, Kevin. Slime.
Thanks, Fatal. I don't think the attackers need fashion tips from the defenders.
No, but they could have done with some tips on speeding up, because that was a slow first half, as our leaderboard will now show.
Neil's in the lead with 3:39, but the others all have times well over 6 minutes.
So those times are pretty beatable.
I'm not so sure. I think the course is proving very tricky indeed. The next 5 attackers certainly aren't going to have it all their own way.
Now, at the end of the moat challenge, the 6 fastest attackers will go through to the next round. Let's say this mug of tea represents round 2, and these 5 sugar cubes are the 5 attackers who are about to take on the moat.
Ah, how sweet.
Even if all 5 of them finish in super fast times and qualify, that still leaves 1 place to fill. That belongs to whoever is currently in the lead at the halfway stage.
And that attacker is... really? And that attacker is... Neil! Kevin, Shantae, Hannah and Ellie just have to hope their times are good enough.
The defenders are back in position, so it's time to welcome our 6th attacker, Braden.
Outwork, outplay, yeah?
Out of the Splatterpult and into the moat. Honky ponky donkey.
Braden, I'd like to have a girls' night with you, so you can come over and start braiding my hair.
Oh dear, that was bad, even for Kookaburra.
Come on, Braden. I thought you was going to teach us something.
Braden, look over here. Braden, look over here. Look, Braden, look, Braden.
Well, the defenders and the Splacken continue what they started in the first half. Braden tried so hard to ignore Coop that he completely lost sight of the giant wrecking ball, losing a shoe in the process.
Here he is at the wavering warhead.
Go, Braden!
He swings, but that surface is slippery, and down he slides into the sploosh.
And the slow times just keep coming. I said this course was tricky today.
You've got 1 life, just live it!
Here's junior lifeguard Kayla, carefully observing the mighty Splacken.
I'm all for lifeguards. Except, how do you guard your own life?
Oh, that was a bit too close for comfort, Kayla.
But if the Splacken doesn't get you, the incline probably will.
The battle axe is now.
On your feet, child.
Oh, dear. Oh, she's doing the boogie board thing. She's swimming out.
Don't think she is, Coop. Pinky Master!
See you later, alligator.
It's another slow time, but for now, that's good enough for Kayla to qualify.
Here's our next attacker, Sarah.
Victory, here I come.
Well, that's a pretty positive attitude.
Wow! How about, I can see it now, victory? That's with a question mark at the end. That should have been it.
Go, Victory, here I come.
That's it, Sarah. You stick to your defender bender.
Sarah, watch out! Out now. Mediocre performance. Here I come.
How about you get your hair done better?
Ow! She just out of my way. I'm not gonna get it now. I was gonna let you go.
Well, I would say from her tone that Mediva wasn't totally happy with Sarah's comments about her. Sarah attempts the bridge, but it's a slip, a slide, and a splat.
Amazingly, 11:06 could be good enough to qualify.
Look up, there's the victory. Oh, you found it.
Another slow time. I think the attackers need new tactics to beat this course.
Okay, how about this? Travis begins his round with a superb 4:28.
What?
He then leaps from the finish line onto the warhead and heads for the Bridge of Disaster.
Did Mediva just catch a splat ball?
Travis leaps from the moat and Fatal sucks up the excess water. He's now backing onto the axes.
I'm confused.
Up the impossible incline now. Kukun splats Travis, who once again leaps majestically out of the moat.
My head hurts.
He's down the slippery slope, one final leap into the Splatterpult, and he lands perfectly to deliver his battle cry.
Start at the finish!
Ah, now it all makes sense.
What do you do at the finish? You start again?
Doesn't make sense to Kook.
Libellosaur!
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it's a great splat word, Libellosaur.
Can you freestyle rap?
I can, but not now.
Too busy crossing the mace, probably.
Yo, my name is Quinton. I look like a goat. I fell off the mace roll right into the moat.
Oh, please make him stop. Go to moat. We haven't got any goats.
Yes, we have.
You silly Billy.
When I eat breakfast, I eat a croissant. You fall in the mud, you're my little croissant.
Poisson?
French for fish.
Well, I suppose there's more chance of finding fish in the moat than a goat.
The most likely thing in the moat right now is Quinton, but he won't mind because 551 is good enough.
My name's Splatalot. I do my job. When I defend the crown, I can...
Yes, thank you, MC Coughalot. So making it through the moat challenge, we have Neil, Travis, Quinton, Kevin, Shantae and Hannah.
They can rest for a moment, but soon they'll be facing a different challenge entirely.
Yes, in round 1 they were on their own against the clock, but in Ditch the Dungeon they'll be slipping, sliding and struggling with each other.
They'll also be up against some pretty steep challenges and 3 fresh defenders.
So what about those times in round 1? That must be the slowest moat challenge ever.
As you said earlier, though, it's not necessarily the attacker's fault. That course can be tricky at the best of times. Maybe it was more slippery underfoot today, or maybe the defenders were more focused.
Focused? We're talking about Kookaburra, Medivh and Fatal here. You know, I've seen goldfish that could concentrate for longer.
In the next round, though, times are irrelevant. There is no time limit. The round simply continues until 4 of the 6 attackers have made it over the finish line.
And here are those 6 attackers who will be attempting to ditch the dungeon.
Neil, Travis, Quinton, Shantae, Hannah and Kevin.
Here's what they're up against. The attackers start beneath the castle walls, where they must escape from the stock market. Then once across the slippery splat walk, they can start climbing the loathsome ladder.
Those that make it to the top can claim one of 4 flags, the ticket to the final. But the defenders will be slowing them down at all times with a host of slimy, grimy weaponry.
So 6 will enter, but only 4 will leave.
Round 2 always signals a changing of the guard.
So bring on the new defenders. First, it's time to say hi to Scab! Then we have the ridiculously named Vane. And finally, the blue-eyed brute Kook likes to impersonate, Thorn.
I'll be the thorn in your eye.
Dude, that sounds painful.
Yeah, safety first.
Scab and safety, that's new. The attackers are as follows: Hannah in green and yellow, Travis in stripes, Shantae in yellow, Quinton in red, Kevin in green and Neil in orange.
Vane starting with the froth brother, and both Thorn and Scab have opted for the goo grenades.
And they're off! The attackers rush to the gate, and they're swiftly through.
I'll start off with a gentle dosing in mayonnaise.
Neil takes an early lead, but sheesh kebab, Thorn sends him into the wet suitcase.
Kevin's next in line, but the defenders are ready for him.
Scab releases a goo grenade, but he misses.
I'd like to take this opportunity to nominate myself as Splatalot Sheriff.
What?
Scab, if you're the sheriff, then I nominate myself as your new deputy.
Nomination taken.
Okay, now how about some defending?
I am to splat and serve, to slime and protect.
He'll want a horse next.
Okay, I nominate myself as Splatalot Handsome.
Splatalot Handsome? Vane?
Well, he's doing a handsome job of turning Neil into a snowman.
Don't worry, Neil. It'll all come off in the wash. There you go.
Thorn slimes.
Tastes good, doesn't it?
I don't think Quinton would agree.
These are a bit broken today.
Battered sausage! Scab splats Neil.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Scab was just complaining about the goo grenades, but I'm sure that direct splat will put a smile back on his face.
Back to Thorn.
It's a rain of thorn for you, Hannah.
She holds on, but either side of her, Shantae and then Quinton head back down.
Neil makes a move now and strides with great purpose back up the ladder.
Vane spotted the danger though and splats him. Oh, Neil then takes out Hannah, Travis and Kevin.
Did everyone see that?
Yes, Vane, we all saw it, but don't take too much of the credit. Neil did all the hard work, splatting the other attackers before sliding into the sploosh himself.
I think Vane secretly wants a deputy badge from Scab.
Is it time for lemons?
Fudge it!
Quinton gets juiced by Scab and ends up in the lemonade along with Neil and eventually Travis.
Oh, awesome, dude! Extra goo for you.
Kevin doesn't like the sound of that.
I was gonna throw this, but I didn't need to. He fell on his own.
Thorn switches to the slime and Neil takes a tumble. Oh, and once again, Travis suffers too.
I'm sorry. Did I put the rumbly in your tumbly?
That looks like a yes from Quinton.
I will now call The purple plague! Patrol!
Here it comes.
3 of the attackers lose their grip just at the very mention of the plague.
Neil hung on for a while, but now he's down 2.
And not too far behind comes Quinton. That leaves Travis at the top.
No, he's also a plague victim. He collides with Shantae and eventually ends up back in a bilge.
So the plague took out everyone. 3 early casualties, then Neil, Quinton and Travis eventually succumbed.
Start at the finish was Travis's battle cry. Well, rather fittingly, he does.
Say hello to my little friend.
Oh, just the sight of Scab's little friend sends the attackers slipping and sliding.
He shoots, he splats, and he scores.
So scare tactics from Scab lead to an impressive collision between Travis and Quinton.
The attackers are really struggling at the moment. They need to get back into the game.
This looks more promising. Neil is really going for it.
Oh, he stumbles but holds on. 5 attackers are now in a line, surely this time.
Scab cruelly fends off Neil and Shantae. She bumps into Kevin and the 2 of them are down.
But the others are still at the top.
Not for long though. Scab sends them all back down the ladder.
You shall not pass!
Easy, Scab.
Thorn! You messed up my hair, dude!
Don't worry, he'll wash the mayo off.
Vane needs to concentrate.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Shantae's at the top. Oh, and once again, Scab sends her back down along with Travis and Hannah.
But Scab couldn't stop them all, and Kevin is the first to claim a flag.
Neil slides down again, but Quinton holds on and becomes our 2nd attacker to make it through to the final. So 2 flags claimed and 2 remain.
Shantae shrugs off Vane. She slips, but doesn't slide, and so she becomes our 3rd finalist.
Quinton welcomes her to the finalist club. 1 more member required.
And it looks like it's going to be Neil. He's up and over the finish line. So that's it. Round 2 is complete.
First down the slide of shame is Hannah, and it seems only right that Travis should start his at the finish.
Sheriff Scab shows that underneath it all, he's actually a gentleman.
Well done, yes?
And well done to our 4 brave young finalists.
So, heading boldly into the Splatalot final are Kevin, Shantae, Neil and Quinton.
What a great round that was. Thrills, spills and splats.
Plus, we've got a new sheriff. Although I don't think Scab is necessarily the best law enforcer in town.
Don't worry, the only rule in Splatalot is there are no rules.
Time now for my colleague to provide you with the statistical state of play. He will dazzle you with his knowledge of the facts, but just as importantly, he'll look stupid doing it. Here you go, put it on.
Shantae has finished 5th and 3rd so far in the tournament. Quinton has a 3rd and 2nd to his name, and Kevin and Neil have 4ths and 1sts. So that means Quinton, Kevin and Neil can't be separated by the Splat-Stat hat.
Okay, so we have 3 favourites. That should make the final very interesting indeed. Here's a reminder of the attackers who still have their eyes on the prize.
We have Neil, Shantae, Quinton and Kevin.
Those are the finalists. Now here's the final round.
And what a round it is! The attackers start by taking a trip to the Dire Mire, where they will find the barrier of all barriers.
They then head through the gate where the terrifying tease awaits. Once over, they must leap onto the scary-go-round, climb over the annihilating arm, and land on the gruesome twosome.
The clobbering cannons are next, and then it's a leap onto the royal ramps, followed by a climb up the slippery rock wall, where the much-coveted Splatalot crown awaits its new ruler.
But remember, in the final, all 6 defenders will be on duty, so it's no walk in the park for the attackers.
They look pretty confident, though. Neil looks fabulous in orange, Kevin's fashionable in green, Shantae's gone for banana yellow, and Quinton's wrapped up in red.
Vane and Kook form the welcoming committee, and Thorn, Scab, Medivh and Fatale are in position, so let's get started!
First stop, the Dire Mire.
Wow, Neil's dived right in, that's a first!
Interesting tactic, but he struggles with the barrier.
Shantae has a go, but no.
Guys, lift each other up. Okay, ready?
Good plan, Shantae. The attackers decide to work together on this one.
Why is there no one here yet?
Patience, Kook.
Neil is over and helping Kevin.
He slides slowly, unlike Shantae, who's shoved by Quinton.
The boys decide that's enough teamwork for one day.
Guys, help!
Shantae gets Kevin's attention, but Neil is long gone. That won't win him any friends.
Maybe that's what it takes to become king.
Well, they're all over now.
Vane fires, but single-minded Neil shrugs it off and takes to the tees.
Oh, Neil! You're not doing very well, champ.
Oh, turkey trumpets! Double turkey trumpets!
Yes! Yes, Frogman!
That's a great run from Kevin, who cleared the tees.
Shantae's a little slower and a little splattier. Blithering pig!
Well, she was at full stretch, nearly doing the splits.
In this case, the banana splits.
And the banana split becomes a banana splat.
Kevin leaps and lands onto the scary-go-round.
He heads for the annihilating arm now.
There's one of them here! He's straight from the pack!
Kevin's an easy target for Kook.
I can't feel.
Back to Quinton at the tees. He's making slow but steady progress.
Stand up, young man!
He takes Vane's advice and he's over.
More target practice for Kook, and it's finally all too much for Kevin.
Here comes Neil.
You know, for an air cadet, you're terrible.
Bit harsh, Vane. By the way, shouldn't you be defending right now?
Neil just gets on with it and clings to the arm.
Good job, Kirk. What is going on?
Neil throws Kook again with compliments, but he's also thrown himself into the moat.
Quinton joins them at the scary-go-round.
Yo, what's up, Quinty? I didn't have to do anything. The guy just quit.
We'd all prefer it if you did nothing, Vane.
Thorn vaporizes Kevin, who leaps for the twosome but lands nowhere near them.
I'm not sure if that was the fashionable thing to do there, Kevin.
Shantae leaps and lands on the scary-go-round.
Back to Neil.
It's time for you to kneel before me. Kneel.
That's actually quite clever coming from Thorn.
Shantae's at the arm, but so too is Quinton.
Uh-oh. Bye, Quinton.
Neil climbing, but here's some sliming.
I says to stay where you is.
Mangled English from Medieval and medieval tactics from Thorn.
That was beautiful defending.
You're very beautiful yourself.
Why, thank you, Bong.
Whoa, don't touch my weapon, Kevin.
Well, push is really coming to shove out there as yet another attacker is forced into the moat.
But Neil has slipped past the cannons, much to Medieva's annoyance. Whoa! Fatal is down!
But Medieval pushes Neil off the ramps. Surely that's not allowed.
That was a fatal distraction.
So Fatal loses her dignity, but then Medieval loses her cool.
She should be sent off.
There are no rules in Splatalot, remember?
Here's Shantae. Piddle puddle.
Quinton's just going round in circles now.
Come on, Quentin, you can still win.
Okay. Oh, great.
What are you doing?
It's really hard to get on there. I'm not a good jumper.
You better hurry.
Ow! It's the girl. Ow!
What's Medieval up to?
Ow! What was that? Ow!
She's given Shantae a free pass. Referee!
No rules, remember. Ring Tony.
Now Neil's made it onto the royal ramps.
That provokes a response from the defenders, and here comes Yakwalize up.
He steadies himself and leaps Ben Sandwich.
Shantae's on the ramps now, but not too far behind is Kevin. This is hotting up.
It's not a slide. You have to stand up.
Shantae leaps for the wall, but she's down.
Kevin's turn, and yes, he's made it.
No! No!
Scab's not happy, and Kevin's nearly there.
Neil tries to catch up, though. What's Kook up to? Looks like he's trying to use the power of his mind.
Well, it's worked on Neil and on Shantae. Oh, and she brings Kevin down with her. The defenders are ecstatic. The final is wide open. The attackers and defenders have it all to do again.
Neil is joined by Shantae, and Kevin makes 3. It's deja vu all over again.
Quinton!
Fatal gives Quinton some slime of encouragement.
Neil leaps, and this time he makes his landing.
But Shantae's right behind him.
Oh, but not for long. She's back in the Bill's watter.
The defenders are now just shouting.
Well, they put Kevin off.
Scab tries actual defending, but it's too late. Neil is over the wall.
All he has to do now is reach for the crown. And yes, it's in his hands, and we have a new ruler.
I'm the king of Splatalot! Yeah! That was for you, Michelle!
Well done, King Neil. A fabulous effort.
But who's Michelle?
It's a mystery. All we do know is that she was his inspiration.
An unsolved mystery. I like it.
Here's something else you're going to like. It's Splat of the Day. Actually, as a special bonus, we've got 2. They both came from the Splacken in round 1. It's hard to believe, but Ellie really didn't see it coming.
And neither did Braden, who not only did a 360 into the moat, but lost a shoe to boot.
Back to Neil and his journey to the crown. He won the moat challenge comfortably, but only just qualified for the final.
He battled hard, though, and now stands before us as our new king.
My first act as king of Splatalot is to throw one of you in the moat. I wish I could do it to all of you, but today I think it will be Medieval.
And for once, Medieval is speechless.
Which is a relief all round.
Well, it's been another fantastic tournament. 3 rounds of mess and mayhem.
And we'll have plenty more splatty action for you very soon. But for now, we'll leave you with the Splatterpult ceremony. Take it away, Medieval.
So until next time, keep splatting!